And so let's just talk about for a second today. Today's world versus when I graduated in 1990. This is from the Sony shareholder meeting this year. It's crazy stats, right? The top 10 in-demand jobs in 2010 did not exist in 2004. I mean, when you think about that, that's just unbelievable. The world is changing so fast. So we're currently preparing students for jobs that do not yet exist, using technologies that have not been invented in order to solve problems we don't even know are problems yet. It's just crazy. You guys are in a world that's working at the speed of light. The other thing that's really relevant for those of you that are engineering students is, for students who are starting right now, half of what you learn in the first year of study will basically be obsolete by the third year of study. It's crazy when you think of that. But it shows that what's important in today's world as a student is learning how to learn, being able to adapt to changes. This was different than when I went to college. When I went to college, not only was there no Google or search, there was no Yahoo, there was no email. There were no cell phones. You had to go to the party to find out if the party was good. You had to drive around to all these different parties to see if they were good. And lots of them weren't. Today it's one tweet and everybody's at the party. I mean, I wish I went to school now than 1990 because we spent a lot of time driving from place to place. It just was a different world back then, so I envy you for that. But what hasn't changed, what has not changed since 1990 and today is the common factors for all entrepreneurs. What does it take to be an entrepreneur is the same today as it was back in 1990. You have to do the research. I was just jazzed up. I might do one of the 1,000 pitches. I got re-energized by that talk right then. You got to do the research. You got to do the planning. You got to do the work to start a business. It's not easy. You always had to do work to start a business. You always have to write the business plan. You have to get your thoughts on paper. You have to know what your goals are. It never works out the way you wrote the plan. Not once. But you write the plan to know what your goals were, and then you've got to navigate the bumps in the road. The great entrepreneurs are the ones who say, hey, this is what changed. This is the curveballs they threw at me. This is what happened. And I navigated them. Because it never goes the way you wrote the plan, but you always must write the plan. Raising capital, right? Look at me. I was the son of 2 elementary school teachers. I was working at Telefund. Okay? I had an air conditioning job. These were not the Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley credentials that some of the other people starting businesses had. But you could do it. Raising capital for me meant going to anybody who knew me, anybody who would listen. I originally raised capital to start my first business from 40 different people who basically gave me money off their credit cards, friends, students, anyone who said, you know what, I'm going to see if Andy can do it. We raised $400,000 to open that first restaurant back in 1994. Executing the plan. Execution's everything. Lots of great plans. Lots of great plans out there where the management team or the CEO, where the execution falls off. So executing is everything, and really holding your own self accountable to the execution is what makes you a winner. Risk versus reward. I mean, lots of people in this audience are 18, 19 years old. You can take unbelievable risks right now. I've got 2 kids in a family. I can't take the risk I could 20 years ago, but you can. Now's the time. Take those ideas. What's the worst thing that can happen? Is that you fail, go back, get a banking job, do something else, you know, sales job. Risk versus reward. So the risk starts out, you can take as much risk. I was once in a class at NYU where they told me, you know, the smarter you are, the least likely you were to become an entrepreneur. And the reason is that the theme of that was that, you know, if you didn't know what was out there or you didn't understand the risk that was out there, you just did it. Of course, times change. Lots of smart people become entrepreneurs. But age has a lot to do with it. It's great to be young and take an opportunity where you are right now to be an entrepreneur. You can take the risk. You don't get to be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 again. Scaling the business. A lot comes down to how you scale it. All that matters in business is growth. for your shareholders, for yourself, for your team, for your customers is growth. So scaling the business, same factor. And you got to have a way to exit the business. You have to know what the end game is. Are you trying to run it forever and take it public? Are you trying to sell it? Are you trying to merge it into something else? What's your goal? What are your goals? How are you going to exit the business? Because most businesses have more than one shareholder, and shareholders are looking for returns. One thing that was very important for me during starting a business, and a common factor for all entrepreneurs, was that you always have to embrace change. So for me, that meant hairstyles. That's me, the platinum blonde hair. Believe it or not, that was in style back then. There I am with the full goatee and the long hair. And there I am, my wife made me get all clean cut for the cover of Entrepreneur magazine. But the point I'm trying to make here, in jest of course, is that you got to have fun. You got to embrace change. You got to be ready for the next thing, because lots of times your thoughts about what may occur may not be what happens.